Hi, I'm Allison, and I'm the crocheter.
And I'm Vivian, the knitter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. Thanks for joining us for episode 8 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
In case you couldn't tell from our little intro and from the podcast title, and you've not listened to us before, we are a mother-daughter craft duo. I don't think we've mentioned the fact that you're my mom in a few episodes. We just assume people know at this point.
Yeah, well, it's not like we have like 100 episodes or anything. It's only been a few
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. Thanks to any returning listeners. What I meant is all you returning listeners, and any new listeners, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening just the audio version. I don't think we have any Ravelry thank yous this week, do we?
No, not this week. But we've had, though, the chatter has been chattering away.
Mm-hmm. For the cow,
and also on Instagram. So that's all going well, and been having a blast watching everybody's projects. But that's a different segment. Did you do the quiz?
Yes, so you found this BuzzFeed quiz, and we actually talked about it like right after we recorded the last episode. But I didn't realize that this is the one that you were going to definitely go for. It's not really a personality quiz, but it's one of those like not stupid, but BuzzFeed has like those random quizzes that they're the ones where they're going to guess something about you. And this one is guess how old I am and we'll guess how old you are. And me saying that title is kind of confusing, but you open the quiz and it's a picture of a man. And the question, you have to guess how old the man is, and then the results of the quiz will tell you how old the quiz thinks you are. Does that make sense?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. So I want to know how old you said.
How old I thought he was?
Yeah.
I said 27.
Before we said. Okay, I said 28. But, so based off of that and the other questions, I got, you're 28. Hey, we're almost the same age, it says.
They never say how old he is, though.
Yeah. Okay, wait. But how old does the quiz think you are?
36. That means I had you when I was 9.
But does it have any like text under that?
It just has, you're old enough to have your, am I allowed to say it? Together, but young enough to still have fun.
Maybe I can beep it out. Just in case. I don't think we've sworn on this so far.
No.
So when we were talking about this the other week, and you were saying, but how old is he? I, of course, immediately, because I'm a millennial, Googled him.
Oh, he's a person?
He's a BuzzFeed writer.
Oh, it's actually him? I see. How old is him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's him. It looks like he's just taken a selfie at his computer. So I found his LinkedIn profile.
You're such a stalker.
And it's definitely him. It says he works at BuzzFeed.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not sure because it says he was at college from 2006. That makes him 2 years older than me. 2 or 3 years older.
He's a little bit older than you.
Yeah, he's just a little bit older than me. 27 to 29.
So I
Late
guessed
20s.
him younger than he is. What did you interesting. What makes you think that?
It's in response to...
It's a response to how old he is. The second question.
Oh, I said you look about my age. Except that he doesn't because I look younger than my age, but I think he looks about,
He looks about your age, not about like how as young as you look.
Yeah.
Oh, I said you have a job. I could have said you could be my son's age. Which / daughter.
Yeah. Well, the one question I thought was interesting was, would you believe I don't even have a driver's license? I can see where they're going because they're trying to catch people off in terms of people who would think, well, you must have a driver's license because you look old enough to have a driver's license. Whereas I'm just thinking, well, if you live in a city, yeah, I could totally believe that. Lots of young people who live in the city don't have driver's licenses.
Yeah.
So that's why my response is, it's chill, we can carpool.
I just said, sure, I'd believe that. Okay, not our best quiz, but you didn't come up with any other alternative.
Yeah, I've been very busy.
You have a job.
I have a job. Yeah, I've had even a hard time just keeping up with Cal stuff. I haven't really looked at the hashtag or the Ravelry thread in a while, except just now to do the tallies, and you knitters are in a dire situation. It is looking grim for you guys.
Hey, but we broke 5,000.
You did. The knitters are now at just over 7,000, whereas the crocheters, and I'll double check the numbers later, but I think I calculated it out that the crocheters are over 30,000 yards now.
Oh boy. Well, that's even oh yeah, I only have 330 yards to add to that.
So I definitely think if/when we do this again, we should do a point system maybe. Then at least when we crush you, it won't seem as sad.
Okay.
Because if a blanket is worth, I don't know, 5 points, and socks are worth 1 point, it's like a range from there, then all the numbers are smaller and it's more relative to, I don't know, a smaller scale, and the difference won't be so massive and really pathetic, really.
Okay.
Or you're just gonna have to recruit more knitting listeners.
I'm trying.
But there's like a good amount of people who are participating. I looked, and the finished object threads, we've got 31 voices, so not counting us, maybe around 29 people who have submitted finished things. I haven't looked to see if there's any on Instagram that aren't on Ravelry. And 78 images shared.
Cool.
Good amount of projects that are popping up there.
Yeah, it's cool. Oh, we forgot to thank the people that mentioned our cow.
Yeah, I figured we could just say, some of the people who are participating, it's thanks to other podcasters who have mentioned our crochet/knit-along.
Emily of Ender's Mill Knits podcast. She mentioned us again.
Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. I finally listened to one of her episodes, which I've been meaning to do because I'm subscribed, but she mentioned the cow in her last one, and she submitted a bunch of things, as well as Jillian from Cuckoo for Cows. She submitted a bunch of ponchos, crocheted ponchos. So, lots of crocheted things. How much longer? We've got a month left? No, 2 months left.
Yes, we have 2 months left. Oh, and some exciting news that I forgot to mention last time. Boston Jen donated her latest shawl pattern for one of our winners. So
nice.
That's the shawl is called Evelyn May. Yeah, one of our lucky winners will get the digital copy. So
cool.
That was very generous of her. Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, maybe I'm trying to think, because you know how we said for the prizes that the grand prize winner would be drawn from the winning team, but we know at this point it's going to be a crocheter. So maybe that pattern could be a consolation prize for one knitter.
Oh boy. Yeah, but
We'll
there are a lot of knitters who are also submitting crocheters.
That's true.
Have you started anything new?
I have. I mentioned it last time because it was to do with the Summer Romance cow that Crochet Cakes and Crochet Luna are doing, which are Closabeth and Claudia, respectively. And that's basically what it sounds like. The project has to do with a couple, whether that's from a book or film, TV, whatever. And it can be inspired by them. It could be because of the colors, because of the yarn, because of the pattern, whatever. So I picked Claire and Henry from The Time Traveler's Wife, and the scarf I'm doing, it's based off of a free pattern called the Julian Outing Shawl by Pierrot Yarns, the Japanese yarn company. They're the one that have a lot of free patterns that are all.
It looks very meshy.
Yeah, it's basically that's what it is. It's just mesh. I say it's based off of this, but I've done it differently. Like instead of chaining 3, I only chained 2, and I did 20 squares instead of 15 squares. So basically all I've done is said, hey, look, there's a meshy scarf thing, I'm gonna make a meshy scarf thing.
What yarn are you using again?
So I am using, I mean, so it's because it's like that mesh and it's very light and summery looking. So I picked a Rowan Summerlight 4-ply cotton yarn, and it is, I don't know if it has a color name, I don't think, but it's like it's a gray, like a slightly bluish gray, very light colored, almost, well, not almost white, but very, very light in color.
It's almost like a overcast sky color.
Yeah. So that's just cotton. But yeah, so it's really simple. It's actually, I about most of the way through my first 50-gram ball. There's just literally barely any left of it. Anyway, I had gotten most of the way through that, and then I had discovered a way to make my grids more straight.
Mm-hmm.
The angles were more like right angles, and the bits stayed straighter. Whereas now it's, it's sort of wobbly because you're chaining and whatever. So I did that for a few rows just to see if it actually was straighter, if I was just imagining it, and it was straighter. But I was so, like, I just couldn't actually change my method halfway through because it would have just bothered me, because I would have known that half the scarf was done differently, even if no one else would have been able to tell. And I think because you insert the yarn, the hook a little bit further down, it also made it just a tiny bit stiffer.
Uh-huh.
I'm just carrying on the normal way.
Well, it's going to be wrapped around your neck all scrunched up anyway, so...
Yeah. But I was just annoyed because I was like, I just, I like straight lines and geometric things, so when I got it to be super straight, it made me so happy. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And then one other quick thing is that Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast is doing a festival of finishing craft along, where basically you just get all of your really old works in progresses and try to figure out what you can do with it, whether it's frogging it or finishing it. And I wasn't going to participate because I literally just have the scarf and the blanket that I've talked about a few times. But I decided I will participate and just like try to do one granny square for my blanket a day, just to help me actually finish it sooner than I would have otherwise.
So how are you getting along with that?
Oh, I decided that today.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Okay. Well, I only have one whip. Yeah, other than the purse socks. I started Boston Jen's shawl. The pattern again is called Emmeline May, and it has this ingenious. I've never done this. Cast on I-cord edging, a faux I-cord edging on each side. So you start here and it gets wider. Like you start at the point, it gets wider and wider, and then also you're doing the edging also at each row. So I've never done that before. I thought that was never seen that before. I mean, I've done I-cord edging, either after a project is done, or sometimes you can do it while it's in progress, but never like on both sides at the same time. I just thought that was really cool. And the yarn, there's just some stash yarn that I have lying around. I think I would have. There's the light color is gray with speckles of pink and blue and green. I think I would have liked it better if I had a pink or a green yarn, but I didn't. And I didn't want to go out and buy anything. I just had this blue one.
Instead of that, yeah.
But blue's my favorite
color. So what does
color.
the rest of the shawl actually look like?
So it's a crescent shape, and it gets wider. So it's got panels of garter stitch and garter stitch stripes and some lace work. It's really pretty.
Is it symmetrical?
I think so.
Because it looks like it's got like the lace bit in the center, and then out from there.
No,
like
I
the
mean
same
it's
pattern.
I think it's just the way that picture was taken. Can you see? Can you see that?
No, it does look symmetrical.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's symmetrical.
Oh, okay.
But there isn't a picture of like the whole thing. You just see it kind of draped on, what is that, a fence or something? So you can't really see the whole thing. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. No, it's not a fence. It's a bunch of trees. Um,
Same thing.
so I'm having fun with that. I'm on the one, two, three, the first lace panel, which is also the fourth panel. I only started a couple days ago, and it's oh, of course the rows are really short right now. It's going pretty quickly. So that's what I'm working on. Do you have any FOs?
I do. My acute sweater.
Woohoo!
Yay! So that's the one that's by Joleen Craft, who's craftling on
Uh-huh.
Ravelry. Yeah, it's all done. I blocked it, and I definitely blocked the heck out of it because I want it to be a bit looser
Uh-huh.
around my tummy. And it is a little looser than it was before, but if I could have blocked it even more or, started over, I think it would have made it slightly even a bit looser.
It looks
But
very
one thing,
warm.
yes, it's very woolly and it smells very, very woolly.
Sheepy. So it's not
Sheepy.
something that you'd be wearing anytime soon then.
No, but knowing Scotland, maybe I will. I
Maybe
did
at night.
blocking it though made the sleeves quite a bit longer,
Uh-huh.
so they're now actually a bit too long. But I can just fold them over and it doesn't look that bad.
Uh-huh.
And then I also did the collar differently. The collar was meant to be almost like a cowl sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to do it, and I followed the pattern, and it just sort of stuck up, and it just looked stupid. Like, I don't really know. I looked like my head was in a pot or
Was
something.
that the first picture you took with it?
Yeah, I think I posted on Instagram
Uh-huh.
of the collar,
You
and
did
it
not
just
look happy in that picture.
no, because it just looked weird. Like in the picture, it actually kind of looked okay, but when I was looking at it in the mirror, it just looked funny. So I just carried on and did it so it's like a boat neck sort of thing.
Looks cool.
And yeah, that's all done.
Your second garment. Second?
Yeah.
Wow.
Second garment, first sweater.
Woohoo.
Yay.
Very nice.
I guess the one thing about crochet things, like they're holier, so I'm like
You'd have to wear a
definitely
cami
to
or
wear something under
underneath.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
And you, I see from the notes that you finished a sweater too.
Yeah, I did. I haven't blocked it yet.
My sweater?
Yeah. I haven't blocked it yet, but here it is. It's the Bayside pullover in a merino cashmere blend. In a
I
natural
kind of
color.
forgot that you had done it in that yarn.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
nice.
You're the one that picked it.
I know, but for some reason, you've pulled it out like every episode, and in my head, I just keep thinking wool or something. But I forgot that you had done it in the
A
cashmere
merino
blend.
cashmere.
Yeah.
It's got a couple stains in it already. I'm, I'm sure when I soak it, it'll come out. Because this thing is white. That's why I like to soak things. Is because especially bigger items, you're dragging it around all over the place. It's gonna get dirty. So I'm
Yeah.
really happy with it. But it looks really small. I mean, really skinny. I think there's an optical illusion because of the cables on each side.
Mm-hmm.
It just your eye is just drawn to the middle, so it doesn't look like.
Hopefully, that optical illusion applies when it's on me too. Slimming cables.
Hopefully, or maybe I'll. I don't know if I'll have to block it wider. Oh. I also finished the Puri Floors, the hat that was
Nice.
almost an FO last time.
Yeah, you just
With
said the
the
inside,
lining.
the lining.
So it looks
See,
nice
stuff like
and
that
toasty.
is just you give that to like a non-knitter or even just me, and you never would have guessed that someone had handmade it. Like just because it just seems so complicated with the Fair Isle and the fact that it's lined on the inside. I could definitely see how a crafter would just not believe that someone had made that
Well, I'm
with their
pretty
own
sure
two hands.
Natalie's mom would know that I made it for her.
Yeah.
When she receives it. So I'm happy with both of them. And I have to make this hat again at least 2 more times.
At least 2 more times?
Yeah, I have to make it for your cousin, who
Mhm.
this was originally intended for, and correctly. And then I bought Jameson's something. It's just wool. To
Yeah.
make the hat that I'm gonna keep here in the house, not give to the cousins because it's not machine washable.
Oh, right. Oh, you could just use the yarn for something else.
But I bought the colors for this hat.
Oh.
Specifically, I bought the color. In fact, I ordered it from the lovely Claire of New Hampshire Knits and her online shop, the Woolly
The
Thistle.
woolly thistle.
And she when I ordered the yarn, she had a note in the package asking me, or an email, I can't remember, asking me, "Oh, are you doing a period floors?" She knew right away. And I'm like, that's pretty good. I was like, as a matter of fact, I am. So, yes, I ordered it and it was here in like 2 days, so fast. The shipping was really, really fast. And
Yeah, well, she doesn't live that far away from you either.
oh, no, that's true.
You both live in New Hampshire. It's not a very big state.
Yeah. Well, still.
That's not even giving anything away. Like I'm not helping any stalkers. You just live in New Hampshire.
Yeah, but anyway, it came, well, sometimes it takes a few days to, like, some Etsy shops will wait for orders to accumulate and then send them all out at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Though she's not an Etsy shop. She's her own store. She's got needles now and ribbons and all sorts of British yarns and now Icelandic wool too. So
Nice.
I'm plugging her store.
And also, I designed the logo.
You did.
Just
and you
throwing
did
that
such
out there.
a great
I
job.
designed her logo.
And it's a lovely logo.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Anyway, so we can jump to MamaMommy but this week it is not crafting related, if that's okay. You're supposed to say, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
My question has to do with the trip that Sam and I are taking in September to Hawaii for our much delayed honeymoon. And I'm asking you because you used to live in Hawaii because I was born in Hawaii.
Were you really?
I was.
Yes, you were born there.
Not that I don't really know much about Hawaii because we moved away when I was still a baby.
Yes, you were
and I've never been back.
6 months old. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And
So basically, sorry, go ahead.
well, we only lived there I only lived there for a year and a half. But what was your question?
Well,
You haven't
just
asked
if
it
you
yet.
have any recommendations for things to do, even though you only lived there for a year and a half and it was a long time ago.
Well, you're going on the Big Island, right?
A week on the Big Island and a week on Kauai.
You definitely have to go to Volcano National Park in the Big Island. That's a really cool thing to do.
Is just like hiking?
Yeah, I mean it's hiking. You go there and you see there's like you can see the slow moving lava flow.
Oh.
They have the black sand beaches
Would that be near the
on the Big
on
Island,
the others? Yeah.
if I'm remembering correctly. That's you have a little shirt that says something about Hawaii. We got it on the Big Island.
The one that just says
When you were a
Hawaii on
baby.
it, the little yellow one
Maybe.
with the
yeah,
red.
the yellow one.
It just says Hawaii on it. Yeah.
Yeah, we got that on the Big Island. And then your dad and I each got T-shirts
Yeah, I know
because
this one.
we honeymooned in Maui.
Yeah,
It says
just
Maui'd.
Maui'd. Yeah.
We love puns.
What about on Kauai?
On Kauai, I've never been to Kauai, but your Aunt Terry lived there for a while. And I remember her telling me about the Waimea Canyon State Park. There's a lot of like hiking trails and there's like a lookout. And of course you'll have to go somewhere where there's a luau because you can't not go to a luau if you go to Hawaii.
But how? But
A lot of
do you just have to embrace that it's going to be super touristy?
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the hotels, like some of the hotels that have restaurants, they will have them like once or twice a week. You just have to look at the schedule and make a reservation. You know, you take pictures with the hula dancers and you get your lei. Your lei. Oh, I love the plumeria flowers. They smell really, really good. They're the ones the white flowers with the yellow center. Yeah, those are really nice. Yeah, I actually brought a plumeria plant back with me to the mainland. It didn't survive because
Not having it.
you can buy these little things. They're just twigs, and you're supposed to plant them and they grow.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandmother has her bird of paradise. She got that there
Mm.
in Hawaii. That thing that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like as old as you are, the
Mm-hmm.
same age as you.
The one in the living room?
In the living room, yeah. That she's divided so many times. Maybe I should take a cutting from that
To where?
to grow myself.
Huh.
Because it's
Yeah.
just like you just divide it and it'll grow.
Yeah, we've yet to really plan like the actual trip. We just know we have all our flights, we
days.
have our accommodation. We actually booked two nights separately at Volcano National Park already,
Oh,
but
good.
we haven't. But like just because, so we don't have to drive back and forth in one day.
So you need to make sure you bring comfortable shoes.
Yeah, I might actually buy walking shoes rather than just my running shoes because they can be a little slippery.
Like walking sneakers.
Yeah, boots,
Yeah.
whatever. Not like boots. Low key walking boots.
You'll definitely need those because there's lots of walking. Are you going to be in Oahu at all?
No, we decided against it just because, like, we are going to be there for 2 weeks, but it's going to take 24 whole hours to get there. And just the idea of having to, we already have to do a flight between Hawaii and Kauai. If we did Oahu, we'd have to do
I mean,
another
but you
flight.
fly into Oahu, right?
No,
You don't?
we're flying directly to the Big Island and then flying back directly
Oh.
from Kauai. So we didn't get a
Oh,
round
I
trip.
see.
We got like multiple destination trip. It was cheaper that way,
I see.
and it's more convenient. So
Well, that's too bad. I mean, that's where all the touristy stuff is, but there's a lot of things to do, a lot of good food.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's too
on
bad just
Oahu.
because I keep telling people like, oh, I was born in Hawaii. I've never been back. Going back to Hawaii, but I'm not actually going to where I was
To where-
born. Just like the
or where
general
you lived.
vicinity, across the water on a different island.
Yeah, I know. We should have bought that townhouse
When you had the chance.
when we had the chance, but we didn't.
Anyway, we
I'd
can
like-
move on to a few of our favorite things.
Do you want to go first?
No, you can go
Well,
first.
I'll go first. My favorite thing this time is Knitty. It's an online knitting magazine, and it's the longest running free knitting magazine. It was started in 2002 by Amy Singer, and she's still the publisher.
Was it always
when I-
online?
Yes, it was always online. And I don't know if it might even be the first online knitting magazine. I'm not sure about that, but I know it's the longest running.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started knitting again, before we had Ravelry and all these different forums and stuff like that, the only way you can get patterns were either, magazines, books, whatever. But then Knitty came along. They actually jump-started a bunch of independent designers,
Mm-hmm.
their careers, like Isolde Teague, Stephen West, who's really big in the knitting world, Cookie A, among others. And Knitty was my go-to place to find patterns. All the patterns were free, but it wasn't just because the patterns were free. It was because you can look, I mean, in one place you can look at like all their whole archive and
Mm-hmm.
and
You could do the
you
internet.
don't have to, you can do the internet. You can just print it off of your computer. You don't have to go anywhere. I've been knitting Knitty's patterns for a while now, and I just recent this on this this whip, the shawl I'm working on. I had to do Judy's Magic Cast On, which is a way of where people want to start toe up socks. That was first published in Knitty, and also Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, which I've used many times. Because I don't remember how to do it, because I don't do the Judy's Magic Cast On a lot. Every time I do it, I have to look it up again.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of what a great resource it is. I mean, I don't use it as much as I used to, just because there's the availability of all the patterns on Ravelry, but still, it's a great place to find free patterns.
Mm-hmm. Is it so? It's not like a website or like a blog. She specifically has issues.
Yes, there's like I think the Four Seasons.
Quarterly. That's what that's called.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, thank you. I made a shrug with a lacy back.
The navy one.
The navy blue one. That one was from Nitty. That was like my first raglan sleeves. Yeah, I mean it's just they have articles too. There is a blog associated with it, but I don't really read it that much. Yeah, and they actually pay their designers.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, it's funny because I saw that your favorite thing was a magazine related, and my favorite thing is also magazine related, and I didn't even look at yours when I decided. It was just because I use the online magazine services of like the public library, the Edinburgh Public Library. They just use Zinio, and they have a few knitting magazines, and they have a magazine called Molly Makes, which is a crafting magazine, and it's got all different types of crafts, which include crochet, but no dedicated crochet magazine until I checked this week, and they have Simply Crochet. This is the first crochet magazine they have. I'm really excited because now I can, like, every month for free look it up online, and I think I can just take screenshots of patterns that I want to save. And that's all. It's a short one. I was just thrilled that finally there's a crochet magazine at the Edinburgh Library.
Oh, that's good.
Online.
Well, I'm even when I have my physical magazines that I subscribe to, when I want to work on one of their patterns, I always photocopy it. So I don't have to carry my magazine around because I don't want the original to go bad. I mean, to get ruined.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like that. You'd have to copy it anyway.
It was funny because I was almost thinking, I have a friend who works at the Edinburgh Public Library, and I was going to ask her, who do I talk to ask for them to get a crochet magazine? Because they have a papercraft magazine, they got quilting magazines. Why don't they have a crochet magazine? Now I don't have to do that. And we can move on to Nerdtastic.
Sure.
Before you enter your new thing, I just want to return back to Wonder Woman because I did see it. In the meantime, I went and saw it with Sam.
Did you like it?
Yes, I did. I liked it, and after we had talked about Wonder Woman, I read a couple of articles, and I was like, darn it, I wish I had read them before we were recording, and then I could have mentioned it. And one of them I shared with you, and it was how they got different people to play the sort of, extras, the Amazons. And
wait, you shared with me or I shared with you?
I shared it with you.
Okay.
And it starts off talking about, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's a Dutch supermodel. She's a Victoria's Secret angel, but she's also a trained horsewoman. And then they also say there was an Olympic bobsledder, a heptathlete, a police officer, a former Miss Greece, an American CrossFit champion, and a Swedish professional fighter. Those are all examples of people that they had, women that they had.
Did they have like firefighters and police?
Yeah, it definitely mentions a police officer here. But yeah, I think that's so cool. They just picked, they found really cool women who...
Professional athletes.
Yeah, professional athletes, and just, police officer is not an athlete, but, trained in certain things that make it easier for them to play these Amazons, dressing up, riding horses, looking convincing with their... Yeah, exactly. Like, it's so
with
cool.
Their sword.
And, they didn't just pick pretty faces and, somebody who actually looks like they could fight with a sword. But the other thing that is not so cool that I just had to mention because it fills me with so much rage, and I'm sorry to make things negative, but I was reading a CNN article that this man had written about Wonder Woman, and the title is Wonder Woman, Feminist Icon or Bodacious Fantasy Figure. And it just made me so mad. Like, he's pretending to be, like, concerned about women and a feminist and whatever, because he one of the quotes that I pulled out was, the movie industry has practically forgotten or willfully ignored great female characters who can provide realistic role models for young women. So basically, his whole point of his article was, is Wonder Woman really feminist because, she's showing skin and she's got boobs, and we should really be doing movies about, realistic role models for young women. Where's the biopic about Harriet Tubman? Blah, blah, blah. And so when I told this to Sam, he just looks at me and he's like, so he's saying that superhero movies should be reserved for men. I'm like, yeah, that is basically what he's saying. He's like, I don't know. It was ridiculous. And I think you would
Yeah.
agree that it was also ridiculous.
Yes, I think it's ridiculous. But yeah, yeah, we all love the Wonder Woman. There's like all these Wonder Woman things that are Wonder Woman flip flops. I
Yeah.
saw. Oh, I went shopping today, and there was Wonder Woman everything. I think the only thing I couldn't find was like a Wonder Woman tiara.
But yeah, I mean, there was another article that a bunch of different news outlets picked up on. It was a Tumblr post where I assume it's a woman had written it, but the fact that watching Wonder Woman and like not realizing that everything else that she's watched is, is shot through the male gaze or whatever, and just the fact that when Diana like did her superhero landing, her thigh jiggled, and just the fact that this movie was made by women, it features like real women, and it's okay, like just that simple thing for her just sort of proved that this movie was made for women by women, and there was no sort of eye candy shots or whatever. I mean, maybe her outfits were a little ridiculous, but speaking of women, it's a good segue. Orphan Black premiered.
Started 2 weeks ago.
And
the second episode aired this past weekend.
Oh, did it?
Yes, I haven't watched the second episode, but I did watch the first episode, and it was very good. And it was very surprising, and I was a little confused because I should have rewatched the last season, and I didn't. So it took me a while to catch up, for my brain to catch up what was going on the screen. But the acting, as always, is phenomenal. I can't wrap my head around the fact that it's one person acting all these different characters, and I forget that it's the same person.
Yeah.
Wearing a different wig.
And in case any listeners don't know what we're talking about, but you totally should, Orphan Black is a TV show on BBC America. It's a American/Canadian show. And this isn't a spoiler. It's about clones. And the one actress plays all of these clones, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and they have different accents, different mannerisms.
Yeah, I always go back to the Alyson. She's like the soccer mom clone, basically. And she seems shorter than the other clones. And I've realized it's because when the actress is playing Alyson, she takes shorter steps. And it just makes her seem shorter, and just, it also just gives her that little like perkiness as well. Preppy perkiness. Definitely, as the seasons have progressed, the show has gotten a little more confusing and ridiculous. Does it still feel ridiculous with the new season?
I mean,
because it's the last season now.
It's the last season. It looks like they're like it's like everything is different now. It's like it's completely different. It's
What do you mean?
It's different.
Different than what?
Like everything you thought was going to happen didn't happen, and now it's like it's completely something else now. I don't know.
Try not to spoil it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'll have to catch up. Well, I was trying to binge watch the first seasons, well, all the other seasons, but there was no way I was going to do all of that. And just even rewatching the first season and a half, it's such a great show. Like, I was actually sitting on the couch with Sam, and every once in a while, it would just escape from my lips, and I would say, "This is such a good show."
Did he watch it before?
We watched it together. I rewatched the first couple of seasons with him a few years ago.
Go watch Orphan Black.
Yes,
it's a great show.
But yeah, Shop Talk.
Shop Talk. Keep Calm and Carry Yarn is sponsored by our Etsy shop, Pearl and Plum. There's not a whole lot going on. I'm just catching up on a few empty spots. Things have sold out, but I do have a couple of reversible exclusive splash party bags left. So after these guys are sold out, I'm not making any more. That's why they're exclusive. So that's all that's going on.
Yep.
I had a little bit of excitement last week.
Uh-huh.
I took Madeline shopping because she needed a dress for a party. And then while we were there, we went to Kohl's, and there's a Petco just around the corner from there. And we're like, well, we should stop by Petco just for the hell of it, because we wanted to buy some toothbrushes for our kitties.
Oh my gosh.
So we went in there.
I know they do that for dogs. Do they actually do that for cats too?
I guess. I was told that we should brush their teeth, so I'm like, okay.
Okay, anyway, carry on.
Okay, so we found what we needed, and then we went to check out, and there was a woman ahead of us, and she was having some issues with her sale, and it was taking her a while, and she was apologizing. I'm like, it's okay, it's not a big deal, we're not in a rush. So she was done. She's finally finished, and then it was our turn. And then when we were done checking out, she was still there. She was looking at the machine that makes the pet IDs.
Yeah.
And she turned around and said to me something like, "Can I ask you a weird question?" And I'm thinking she's probably going to ask me a pet related question like, "Does your cat meow every time he poops?" or something like that. But no, it was completely unrelated to pets. She said, "Do you do a podcast?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." So it turns out she is Mrs. Kellogg. That's her Ravelry name. And
It's also her Instagram name.
It's also her Instagram name. And we've talked on Ravelry, and she said hello on our in our welcome thread. Mm-hmm. So she works in our town. So I was thrilled. I was like, Madeline was making fun of me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're a celebrity." But I was pretty thrilled. It really made my day.
I was thrilled for you
that somebody actually recognized me. But of course, I look like crap.
You don't look like crap. But I mean, in that picture you took, you can tell you are happy. You are beaming. I don't think you've ever smiled so much for a picture in your life.
Oh, that's not true. We were actually walking out, and we're talking and a little bit, and I was like, oh, we should do a knit night or something, and because she's local. I mean, I didn't know we had any listeners that were local that that don't know me personally.
Well, I mean, how would you know? They don't know where you live. Our listeners don't know where you live, and it just, coincidence.
I guess. Yeah. So, and then I start walking away. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't take a picture. So and I didn't even have my phone. I left my phone at home, so Madeline thankfully had her phone, so she took the picture for us. So that was my little celebrity moment. Very exciting.
That is very cool. That's quite an accomplishment. Only 7 episodes in, and you got recognized.
Yeah, who'd have thunk?
Yeah. But doing anything else other than maintaining your celebrity lifestyle?
I've discovered that I really like navy stripes.
Why did you buy a bunch of navy striped things?
I bought a pair of shorts that's navy with little white polka dots. I didn't really have anything to go with it, so I bought a navy shirt with white stripes. And then today I was like, I want a red shirt or a white shirt with some either navy or red on it, and to go with these shorts. Because I was looking in my drawer, like, all my shirts are so old. Like the shirt I'm wearing right now, I think it's just as old as Madeline. So I went to Marshall's. And I tried on a bunch of stuff. Not everything was navy, but the things I ended up buying were all navy with stripes or white with navy stripes. One. Here's another one.
What is the point in that? Okay, it's different.
This one is different. And then this one, it has a little bit of turquoise in it too.
Oh, it's like opposite. It's like navy with white stripes.
It's navy with white stripes.
Okay, that is different. I'll give you that. They're different.
They're all different from each other, but they're all navy and white. Yeah. Navy and white.
With stripes.
Or white and navy with stripes. So, I guess that's my new thing. It's going to be a very stripy summer.
Mm-hmm. Well, was just in Bristol this past weekend, and it was very warm.
Now, where exactly for us dumb Americans is Bristol?
Bristol is southwest, so like not terribly far removed from Wales.
Southwest England.
Yes.
So, is that close to Cornwall?
Not really. I mean, no. Not that. It's not that far down that skinny bit.
Okay. So, what's exciting in Bristol?
I don't really know. We weren't actually in Bristol. We were in like a suburb of Bristol. Because we were just visiting friends, Sam's friends. But I have to tell you about, we went to a National Trust property on Sunday. It was called Great Charlesfield Manor. Chalfield, no S. Great Chalfield Manor. And I'm pretty sure that's just how you pronounce it, like, which is strange because you pronounce it exactly the way it looks, which rarely ever happens in England. But part of why it was so great was it was just such a beautiful day. It was so sunny and warm, almost too warm. But the house itself is really pretty. It's a medieval manor. Obviously, some of it is newer built, depending on what has, deteriorated over time and whatnot. You can only tour the house by appointment because it's still used. Like a family still owns it and lives there.
Oh my gosh!
You look at the pictures, and it is a fancy house. You can't even imagine like being the type of being able to live in a house like that. I think they must live in. There's a newer wing on one side. They must mostly live in the newer wing. But even the old section of the house, their like family pictures are everywhere. It's like this is the Great Hall, and those are wedding pictures. But it's really beautiful, and the gardens, sort of like formal gardens, and there's a stable with horses. I pet a horse.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was just really, really pretty.
It's very cool. Get to go to all these exciting places.
They're saying what has been filmed there. Wolf Hall. It is. They used it as Cromwell's Austin something, where he lives. And I think some of the inside was used in the other Boleyn girl. Boleyn. I said Boleyn. Boleyn. And I think they also said, apparently, I think a couple episodes of the new season of Poldark has come out here. And
have you started watching that?
I haven't. I didn't even realize until we stood in front of the house and the woman who was starting the tour mentioned that they had used the house as a filming location for
Poldark.
That's
so cool.
Yeah. But you go to any National Trust property or any like old building and it's been a filming location for something.
we don't have old
in the UK
like that here.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, I don't really know why I had to tell you about that. It wasn't that exciting.
Well, I mean, it's exciting that you get to travel to places that, a lot of us don't have the opportunity to go to. So
yeah, I gotta make the most of our National Trust memberships. Even though one of Sam's friends made fun of us for being, he's like 80-year-olds do that, like because it was us and Sam's friend and his fiance, and then another one of their friends.
Explain to people what that is.
The National Trust? It's just
membership. Yeah,
I mean it's
because a lot of Americans don't know about it.
It's just whatever organization that takes care of old historical sites, and then you pay for membership, and then you get in free, and you get free parking, and they're good for days out for family and old people, married people. I don't know. Because his single friend was just like, didn't have a National Trust membership because he's not 80 years old. And us married folk were like, yep, got our National Trust memberships.
Well, that was a wedding present, was it not?
It was a birthday present.
A birthday present.
Mine was a birthday present because I was able to get a young person's membership just before I turned 26, because you can get it until you're 25. So it was really cheap. And then Sam bought his as a normal person.
Oh,
so
so
that we
Sam
can do things
bought
together.
one too? So it's not like you can't like bring him in on your membership or
No,
anything like
it's
that?
just like you. But we have the
Oh.
Scottish National Trust, which is cheaper than the English National Trust, but still we can use it in England. Anyways, this is literally the most boring thing, and no one will care. Like, people who live in England already know. The people who don't really won't care. So we can stop talking about this now.
Well, I think it's interesting. I'm sure other people think it's interesting.
Maybe. I could tell you about another castle I went to, but it's okay. I'll just put a picture in for people who, while we're talking. Anyway. So, shall we say goodbye then?
Yeah, we can say goodbye.
Because it's been over an hour recording now.
Has it?
It has.
Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So that's us, and you can follow us on Instagram at KCACY Podcast. You can find our show notes at kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. I'm not doing this in a really logical order. We have the Ravelry group. Just Google our podcast name, and you can join in on the knit along, crochet along. Still got lots of time to participate, especially if you're a knitter, because they're really, really losing. And you're probably listening to this right now via iTunes or something for a podcast or YouTube, so you already know. But you can watch us on YouTube, or you can listen to us wherever you find your podcasts. So thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn.